Hi everyone, and welcome to the Wisconsin Officials Association Alliance training tape number 2 for football officials. We are 2 weeks into the season. The non-conference games are finished up, and we are ready to head into the conference season for the 2023 football season. Just as a disclaimer here as we get going into this tape, the tape is a product of the WOAA. The instruction and training does not reflect anything given by the WIAA or NFHS in terms of philosophy. The training is for 5-person officiating crews at a high school level. You may see clips from 7-person or 8-person high school games and college football games. And remember, no video is ever meant to call out or degrade any players, coaches, officials, or teams in any way. This is for learning purposes only. And as always, if you wish to contact me, my contact information is there on the screen. I'm the designated training coordinator for the Wisconsin Officials Association Alliance. That consists of the Indian Head Association, the Arrowhead Officials Association, and the Wisconsin River Officials Association. Okay, so our first topic that we're going to cover here today is line of scrimmage officials, positioning, and mechanics. As we have gotten into the early season, there were some really good things that we have seen in our video, and then some things that can be improved upon as we get going. So we're going to have a lot of video and reminders for the line of scrimmage officials. And we're talking both linesmen and line judge as we get going through here. Remember, in pre-snap, we want to identify our formations and communicate those with our partner across the field to identify legal formations, 5 in the backfield, covered receivers in which you would get on your radio and communicate that. Situations like that can help improve our accuracy in these fouls. And you remember that you want to trust your partner across the field. Don't reach over the line unless you're absolutely 100% positive. Trusting our partners can be a big part of credibility towards our crews as we get going through the season. Our run plays, keep your position on the sideline. Don't come onto the field if you don't have to. We've seen some officials that are up at the numbers if the ball is on the far hash. That's not necessary. Stay on the sideline. Do not come up onto the field. And when you have a run your side, make sure you work back and see blockers until the ball carrier is threatened. We'll have good video there to show you what we mean by that. On pass plays, make sure you hold the line until you need to go. I know in the manual for the NFHS 5-person officials, sometimes you drift downfield, sometimes you hold the line. My philosophy has always been hold the line until you need to go. If you don't have any runner or if you don't have any players on your side of the field, hold the line, get the information needed for an official who has a lot of receivers on their side, and that creates good crewness and good crew awareness of our formations and passing attack. If you do have pass action opposite, identify those ineligibles downfield. Know if the passer crosses the line of scrimmage. Know if the ball crosses the line of scrimmage. That's imperative that we know that now with the new intentional grounding rule that came in last year. And then know if passes are forwards or backwards. If there's a balanced formation and that happens to your side, you should be responsible for that. But something that many crews do is if there are trips to one side, the opposite official comes in and gets that because they don't have much action on their side. And the line of scrimmage official who has trips to their side needs to be able to watch blockers and identify a few more things versus if they were opposite of that. When you're at the goal line, 6 to 10, try and work to the 5. It's not a hard work to the 5, but it's just a slight kind of get yourself moving a little bit towards the 5-yard line because you are now responsible for the goal line. And then the 5-yard and then work to the goal line right away and then work backwards. Work deep as well. That helps you see if a runner gets to the pylon or not because remember, once it's at the 10-yard line, you are responsible for that goal line. That goal line is the most important thing on the field. And then dead balls, make sure our signals and movements are crisp. Always assume that you're on video when someone's watching you. You don't need to come out onto the field and watch action out of bounds. Be good dead ball officials. Don't worry about the spot as much when you have players into the sideline. If it's a black team sideline and a team in a white jersey or a player in a white jersey goes over into that sideline, be cautious of that stuff. Monitor that action there. Don't worry about the spot as much. You can always use a beanbag to mark it or just get a mark in your head and then watch that action as we go. Also, feel free to screenshot this and use this as you would like. Okay, so we're going to kind of work our way down the checklist that I had there on the PowerPoint. And right here, this is a really key thing that I'm talking about pre-snap. So if you notice as we pause the video right here, we have a strong I. So we have a quarterback right here that is a back. We have a back right here, and then we have another back right here. If you notice, we have our opposite line of scrimmage here. He is punching backwards. That means that his near side official is off the line. And as we get going into the video just a little bit more, we can see that this official has also gone and said his receiver is off the line. So right now we have 3 backs right here, then we have 2 backs right here. This is 5 in the backfield. So you need to identify that from your crossfield partner and make sure that he sees that. That's why we do this. It's not just to tell everybody that your near side receiver is off the line. It's to communicate to your partner that your receiver is off the line. And that way we know that we have 5 in the backfield if there is 5. And as we let the play go through here, they're going to run with 5 in the backfield, and we don't have a flag on the play. So that's being aware that your backside or that your receiver is off the line and knowing that we have 5 in the backfield. You need to be aware of those things, and there's a long run that's a result of that. So be mindful of those. Those are big plays that we need to make sure we have right, especially as we get into the conference season. So moving on from more of the pre-snap stuff, we're looking at live ball stuff. So this is just going to be a basic run play, and watch our linesman on the opposite side of the field as the ball goes through. There's good initial position by these line of scrimmage officials, but then you see him just kind of walk onto the field and then kind of walk at an angle to the spot. This looks sloppy. This isn't exactly how we want to have our mechanics look when we're on the field. We want to move down the sideline and then up at the yard line that the ball is dead at. That looks a lot sharper and it looks a lot more clean. And as we get to the next slide here, you'll see a good example of that. Watch both of these officials right here. They move down the sideline, and then when the ball is dead, then they come out right at the yard line. This is an excellent job by both of these line of scrimmage officials. They look good. They look clean. They look like they know what they're doing. When we come onto the field and we just kind of wander around, take angles, it doesn't look as sharp versus what these guys do right here. So this is a good job of these guys of being sharp with our angles as they spot the ball here. So right here, this is going to be an example of when the ball comes to our side. So you see the ball come to the side right here. He kind of drifts down, but he almost drifts, in my opinion, too early. I think if he's just a little bit more patient, this official right here, he'll see this run coming, and he can actually work. What we would like to see when we have a run come is kind of work backwards a little bit, because that way, as this ball carrier comes running, because he's going to try and gain yardage, then you can see all these blockers right out here and see if their actions are illegal or not. And then as he comes to the sideline, and he does get a little bit further gain, and I do like that the line of scrimmage official lets him pass by, then you can see all the action that happens here on this sideline. And I do like how he officiates the dead ball. He doesn't come running up on the spot. He kills the clock. He sees the action, and then he gets the ball and then gets the spot. So just a little bit more better improvement at the beginning of the play, but I do like at the end of the play how he reads things. Make sure that the blue team does get out of there. You see him kind of sneak behind. You want to keep him closed off in front of you until he is clear away from the sideline. But overall, I do like how he does watch the action there towards the end of the play and doesn't worry about the spot right away versus, seeing everything clear, crisp. His signal is good. So some good things and some things to improve on in this play specifically. So now in this play right here, pay attention to this official who's on our near side below. And you're going to see as the ball comes to his side, he's going to sit there. He's going to let the play get behind him. He's going to see the action, and then he's going to wind the clock as he gets tackled towards the sideline. I would like to see this official just stay a couple steps back until that player in white does get out of there. But overall, he does a good job of letting the blockers in the play get out in front of him, and then he's able to read everything that's going on there. There's not a lot of threats there, obviously, for blockers, just that one player in white, but it's good patience, good philosophy by this line of scrimmage official, how he's patient there. He sees the action at the sideline the whole way through, and then he winds the clock, and then he gets the spot. And then this play kind of sums up everything that we've talked about so far. Play comes to his side. He anticipates that's going to come to the sideline, so he gets out so he can see the blockers ahead. Then the play gets dead. He moves on the sideline to where the spot is going to be, and then he blows his whistle. It's nice, it's patient, and then he comes out and he gets the spot. This is an overall just a good summary of what we've talked about so far by this line of scrimmage official as the play develops and then ends. So this play is just a good example of working together as a crew. We're going to see in our formation here, we have trips over here to this side, so we have a line of scrimmage official who's down there. You can't see him because of the play bar. And then we have this official over here who just has a single back to his side. And what I like about this is that we do have a situation where a team likes to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and it gets a little dicey as to if it's forward or backwards. And what he does is the pass is in front, and the line of scrimmage official on opposite, if you watched him, he works back to see that angle, and he actually punches forward, so it's indicated on video, and it's communicated to the crew that that pass was forward. So that's an overall just a really good job of these two line of scrimmage officials working together. You can see this. Our near side line of scrimmage official gets as far back as he can. He's still watching the blockers, and then as the ball carrier is threatened, he goes to the ball carrier, and then he has the referee to help him clean up with that as well. So this is just, in my opinion, just a really great job of how these two line of scrimmage officials communicate and then punch one way or the other to indicate forward, backwards pass, because that's huge, especially in late situations where it's really close and the ball's dropped and it's a fumble or an incomplete pass. So moving on a little bit, we're talking a little bit more about pass coverage now. We see it that there's trips to this line of scrimmage official side, and he does come down the sideline, and I do support him drifting downfield a little bit. What I don't really like is how far he comes on the field to wave incomplete here. All he needs to do is stay where he's at and just a nice 2 brushes of incomplete. Yes, there is some extracurricular activity right there, but he's already coming onto the field before that happens, and you have a back judge to come in and help you with that as well. So overall, he doesn't need to come out. He's still signaling incomplete. If you're going to come out onto the field, stop with the incomplete, get out there and break the players up a little bit. So now let's turn back to this line of scrimmage official who's nearest to us. You'll see that he just has a single back to his side. The pass play does not warrant him to go downfield, and he can still signal incomplete here. And he does that, and he stays right where he's at. All he has to do is blow his whistle. He gives a nice 2 clean incomplete passes right there, and then he's right back to where he needs to be. This looks so much sharper. It looks very crisp. It looks cool, and I like how this line of scrimmage official does this right here. So this is an overall very well job done. So now right here looking at goal line mechanics, and you'll actually see that the line of scrimmage official near side to us, he starts, look where he starts at. He's already starting back because he's anticipating if a run comes to this side, he needs to be able to see the sideline and see the pylon right here. So I like how far back he starts, and then at the snap we're within the 5-yard line, and the snap goes and he works right to the goal line. And then he comes back when he sees that it's short and he gets the spot. These are excellent goal line mechanics, and you'll see if you watch the far side as well, he doesn't start as far back, and he could start a little bit farther back, but he's still getting to the goal line and then coming back. And those are the mechanics that we want to see when we work the goal line. So this is, again, an overall well job done by this near sideline of scrimmage official that we're watching. So this last one that we're looking at is just covering ineligibles downfield, and I really like how this crew works together here, and I wish I could show you the video the whole way through, but it's cut off. We have a situation where we have a lineman downfield, and the opposite line of scrimmage official actually comes and picks this up. While it is a balanced formation, the route running is balanced itself. The line of scrimmage official here, he comes through and he actually goes and is able to pick up that ineligible downfield. If you notice this player right here, 58, he's way downfield, and the pass action is going to the left side, and our opposite line of scrimmage official does a great job of picking up that ineligible downfield. I like how our near side line of scrimmage official, he goes down a little bit, and I support that because he has some pass action down on his side, but then he stays on the sideline. He gives a nice clean 2 incomplete passes, and it looks really, really good on field. And then this actually ends up being intentional grounding, and the crew does a great job of bagging the spot. The referee does. The line of scrimmage official actually will end up coming in here. They'll discuss this, and then they'll enforce it as needed. This is just kind of an overall good job and good idea of picking up those ineligible receivers downfield when you're an opposite line of scrimmage official, when you have a play that is not coming to your side. He stays aware, he stays engaged in the play, and he picks up a critical foul. And this is just a very well job done by this crew in its entirety. So our second topic that we're going to dive into a little bit is back judge positioning and mechanics. So we looked at line of scrimmage officials. Let's look at back judges now. And just some reminders for back judges. You're the lone wolf back there. We don't get two sideline officials like we do in college. So pre-snap, get that play clock going about 3 to 4 seconds after the whistle. Be patient with it. Don't make it be a strict 40. Be patient. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And then click the play clock in and go. Make sure you're counting the defense and confirming with your line judge, and then identify the formation, and then identify your keys. As far as positioning goes, we want to be in the middle of the field. The manual says that you can kind of move side to side if you want to. My opinion, if you stay middle of the field, you're never going to get surprised, and you're going to be able to see the field in its entirety. If you cheat one way, you could be surprised by an official coming from the other side, and you tend to watch one side of the field. So staying in the middle of the field is a good point of kind of a good point to start at before you start going one side or the other. 12 to 15 yard line. Position at the goal line. The closer you do get to the 15-yard line, it'd be okay, to start a few steps into the end zone, gauging what kind of team you have, whether they're going to pass a lot, whether they're going to run the ball more. But know that you have to have a line. Know what lines are important in the situations you are in. In this case, the goal line is important. So if you see a run or if you see a pass play and you're not going to be in the way, get up to the goal line so that you know if it's going to be a touchdown or not. And then 10 to 1, make sure you're positioned on the end line. You're responsible for that whole back line and making sure that those catches are good that are in the back of the end zone. Run plays, read the run by watching keys. Identify your illegal blocks. Stretch plays, clean up blockers. Long runs, watch for downfield blocks. Make sure that they're legal. Then confirm with your sideline official before you signal for a touchdown. And then make sure you take the goal line on those run plays if you're starting beyond the 10-yard line. And then pass plays, don't allow yourself to get beat. Turn your hips and run if you need to. If possible, stay stationary to judge those pass plays. It's much easier to be standing and watching a play for holding or pass interference versus if you're running and moving with the play itself. So I don't do end zone views very often, but I think this end zone view is just a really good job. Watch our back judge right here. He's in the center of the field. He's counted his defense, and he's watching his key now. And he just takes a few steps back. He reads pass. He gets behind. He sees the long pass, and he gets stationary to judge it, and then he comes up and he kills the play. Overall, I just really like how this movement is. It's smooth. It's crisp. He seems calm the entire time. He moves when he needs to, and then when that pass play comes, he just gets stationary. He judges it how it happens, and then he goes from here. I just really like how this back judge works in this situation. He starts roughly in the middle of the field. Yes, he shades a little bit to the play side, and that's more of a personal preference for him. But I just really like how he reads this play, and then he comes up, he kills the play, gets the spot, and then he moves back to where he needs to be. This is just an overall really well job done on a basic pass play by this back judge. So here in this situation, we see where this back judge is, and we see that the ball is about on the 15-yard line. So I would ideally support positioning to be kind of starting at the goal line and then maybe a few steps back if needed. He's about 7 yards back in this situation, and I don't support really starting there at any time. If anything, you're about 3 to 4 yards into the end zone, not as much as far back as he is. And then we read the play, run, then I come up onto the goal line. He just kind of stays there. If that long run comes and he gets beat to the goal line, and it's close there, you're going to have a tough time ruling if it's going to be a touchdown or not. So if you do start 3 to 4 yards back, that's fine. But once you read run, I would come up onto the goal line and watch those blocks and then rule on there if it's going to be a close play or not. But in this situation, if you know that this team's going to be a run-heavy team, I would just start on the goal line in general. If you know that there's going to be a pass play, be smart, get back. would almost get back into the end line then if you know the routes are going to be running to the end zone if you read that. But you want to make sure that you're getting on a line regardless, because you need to know that lines are important in this case. And if we have to guess in the middle of the end zone, there is no line in the middle of the end zone that's going to determine if it's going to be a touchdown or not. It's going to be the goal line or the end line. So just some things to think about in your basic positioning there as a back judge in this situation. And then on this play, we see we're at about the 23-yard line, and this back judge, he comes up, he's on the goal line, he's about the middle of the field, and the ball is snapped, and he stays patient, and he just sits there and he holds his line. If the ball's caught there and they run up, he's going to be in position to be able to rule on the goal line. So this is a good job by this back judge of his basic positioning to start, and he's just able to stay calm, stay cool. Even if that pass play does go up the sideline, he's still stationary. He can make a ruling on it. He's in good position. So I like the positioning by this back judge in this case. So in this situation, we're about at the 27 or 26 yard line. So this is actually fine positioning by the back judge here. But we're going to see the ball get snapped. We're going to see a throw that's going to go deep. And right here, we want to get onto the goal line. We see the back judge, he just kind of runs towards the play. And that's almost getting too close. I would get on the goal line, stay stationary, and judge the play how it is. I wouldn't run into the end zone at all. I'd stay right on the goal line. The deepest would be the goal line in this certain scenario. So just some things to improve upon for this back judge. Just stay stationary on that goal line, and those are some key takeaways I think that you can take from this play. I also would start a little bit more in the middle of the field. Again, by the book, the positioning is fine, and I would be okay with how this is, but I really do support the middle of the field because this is a situation where the ball goes opposite of the strong, and it goes to the wide side of the field. So just some things to think about as a back judge in this certain scenario. So in this situation, we are on the 14-yard line, so we don't quite want to start actually at the end line in this case. I would support that 3 to 4 yards into the end zone in this certain situation. And we'll see as this play kind of goes through, there's a pass and the play goes up, and if you recall, we watched this play already, and then he kind of comes up and he's past the hash towards the run play. Don't come up unless you need to. In this case, if he started where he needed to be, he would be at about the 3-yard line. He could come up to the goal line and then stay in the middle of the field. Unless there's a situation here that's happening, I wouldn't have him come running up. Now it's different, if there's things happening in the sideline and you want to come up and you want to help and get players out of there, that I absolutely support. But just talking from a basic understanding of our positioning as a back judge, we want to be on the goal line here, middle of the field, and be able to rule on their line, because right now the goal line is still the back judges because we're not inside the 10-yard line yet. So again, some things to think about. You have that goal line until the ball is snapped at the 10, so you need to be able to make a ruling on the goal line. So we'll play this video the whole way through. We see we're starting at about the 19-yard line. So again, the goal line is still the back judges. And you're going to see that he actually starts backing up and he's about right on the goal line there, which is fine. And then we're going to see how this pass play develops. It's going to go to the middle of the field and he gets taken out. In this situation where you have a play that's going to go into the end zone, I would back up to the end line right away. I would not sit in the middle of the end zone. I would judge this play from the end line because that's the line that's now threatened. The ball is going into the end zone. You need to be able to make a ruling on the back of the end zone if he's going to be on the end line or not. So I would get to the end line right away, and unfortunately, because of how he positioned himself, he gets taken out, and better positioning fixes this problem. So some things to improve upon as we look at this play in general. We never want this to happen. This could take away a touchdown or an interception. So just remember that when you're positioning yourself, this is a situation where the ball gets thrown deep. We want to be on the end line and make a ruling on the end line. Our last topic that we're going to touch on today is just quality fouls versus non-quality fouls. We're going to have a few less clips for these, but there's some main points that I kind of want to get across. Reminders before you throw the yellow. Did that foul have a direct impact on the play? If it's not a safety foul. Safety obviously triumphs everything, but if it's a basic, holding, blocking the back, does that impact the play? And was this action prolonged or result in a significant disadvantage for the other team? And was the initial engagement legal? Those are all things that we want to consider before we throw our flag. And let's just take a look at a few different plays. So this first play that we're going to have a kickoff, and you're going to see as the play kind of finishes up here along the sideline, we're going to have a flag thrown for a block in the back. So let's back it up. Let's take a little bit more of a peek at it. So we're going to see play comes through, and this is our action right here. If you can see my mouse, this player is going to get blocked in the back as he goes out of bounds. My opinion, we don't need a flag here. Yes, it is a block in the back, but it had no significant impact on the play. In my eyes, isn't really a safety foul in this case, and we're essentially backing the offense up for no advantage gained here. So this is one where I would want to keep the flag in my pocket personally, and I think a lot of others within our alliance would agree that this is just not a foul that we need to pick up in this circumstance. The next play that we're going to look at is sort of a similar situation. We're going to see a play come on over here, and this is a lot more clear. We'll watch this player right here. He gets blocked in the back as the ball's going out of bounds. This time there is no flag that comes in, and this is a nice job by this crew of recognizing that, and especially probably with the back judge here because the line of scrimmage is very, very close up, that we don't need a flag here because it simply does not impact the play in any way, shape, or form. So nicely done by this crew of recognizing this, that we don't need a foul here. On this situation, we're going to actually see a reversal here. So the ball is going to come towards us, and then it's going to work back. And watch right here, this blocker right here, he gets pushed in the back as the play is going the other way, and there's a flag that goes down for a block in the back. This is another situation where we do not need a flag because the ball is going the other direction, and yes, that is where oftentimes block in the backs occur, but you'll see that as that action happens, the ball carrier is already past him. He's not going to be able to make a play on this play, and overall we just don't need to have a flag here because of this. Again, no significant impact on the play, and we overall just need to keep the yellow in our pocket when it comes to this stuff. Again, this is all philosophy that we talk about here. You technically are supported by the rule book by throwing this flag, but if we want game flow, if we want to be able to get fouls that truly matter, these are ones where we can just kind of keep it in our pocket and we could go from there. So on this play, let's keep an eye on the edge right here. We're kind of switching gears to holding now. So we see this play kind of transpire. And in my eyes, this is a good holding foul. So we see that he's getting held. I'm sorry, the play happens over here. He's getting held. He walks in for a touchdown, and we have a flag come down for holding. This has a significant impact on the play. This player has a significant chance of being able to make this tackle if he's not held. The action is prolonged. There's jersey grab. Nice job by the referee coming in and picking this up. Line judge could get it as well. But this is a foul for holding, and I think this is a very good foul for holding because of how the action impacts the play overall. So nice job by the referee of coming in and getting this. This is what we want to see in terms of a foul being called for holding. Okay, so our last play we're going to look at, we're going to try and watch the center right here, and this is during the scrimmage, so it's kind of hard for us to identify by numbers. But let's watch the play kind of go through, and you're going to see that there is a hold here that is called. But this is one where I think we should keep the flag in our pocket because there are a couple things. Yes, the action is prolonged. Yes, it's a hold. But does it impact the play? Is that nose tackle, if he is let go and the person who holds disengages, is he going to make that play? And I would argue no in this case. The ball is 2 or 3 players down from him, and the ball is long past him as well. So this is one where, no impact on the play. I would keep it in our pockets, and we can be able to say, hey, you held there, so make sure that you clean that up, but it has no impact on the play. I think we can keep the yellow in our pocket and we can keep the game moving. Now, if one of those edge blockers would have went out and held, then we would want to get this foul for holding. But because of where this foul takes place and the impact on the play, I would want to keep it in our pockets. Okay, that is going to do it for this training tape. I hope you were able to get a few things out of this. Remember that our rules test number 2 is due on September 15th. And if you would like to become a member of the Wisconsin Officials Association Alliance, all you have to do is join one of the 3 associations you see listed on there. Those are the contact emails for all of those associations, and you get weekly videos outside of this. You get rules quizzes, and you get a full access huddle account. So definitely something I would strongly consider if you are wanting to get better as a football official. So thank you, take care, and good luck in your games as we begin the conference season in Wisconsin.